Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
This is Jesse DeGroot, guitar player for Beneath the Hollow, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have Mr. Jesse DeGroot, guitarist of Beneath the Hollow. Beneath the Hollow hail from Chicago, Illinois, and has released a lyric and live video for their newest single, Spellbound, available now via the label group /INgrooves. Spellbound. This single is the follow-up to 2018's Nihilist EP, and don't know what they're going to be calling the new EP, getting ready to come out here hopefully soon, but they're working on it. But Spellbound is the first single off of it. So, Jesse, how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thanks. Appreciate you having us on, Jeff. And you hit the nail on the head. Spellbound's the first single that we got a EP we're working on, looking at maybe a January 2020 release. Get some new material out there.
How's it been working with Tag Publicity so far for you guys?
So far, it's been great. Folks at Tag have been excellent. The folks at the label group have been excellent. This is the first time we've ever really worked with anybody, outside of just pushing our releases on our own. So it's been a real treat to have a team behind something. So it's different for us, but it's shown a lot of results, and we appreciate their help for sure.
So Spellbound is the newest single that's currently out right now for you guys. That's getting ready to come out on the new EP, which is unnamed as of yet. How does it feel to be able to put out a single, let alone an EP previously, especially since so much has changed in the music world for bands now, especially like up-and-coming bands and things like that, because it's very hard now, it seems like to me, versus, I would say back then, kind of, if that makes sense?
Well, it's kind of a catch-22. Now you've got a way lower barrier to entry, so you can record for cheaper. You can get better sounding recordings for lower costs. And I mean, we self-produce everything. So we do all of our recordings, mixing and mastering is all done by us in our own little project studio. So on that side, it's great. On the flip side, there's so much music coming out at any given day. It's the biggest challenge is kind of trying to get yourself above everybody else's releases and get into the ears of new people when they have so much that they can listen to.
What's impressed or excited you, Jesse, about making or recording this new single? Anything that sticks out about it possibly? I mean, I know there's other tracks possibly that you have on this, but what's excited you most about tracking this one?
Spellbound was actually a real treat. It was something for us that was a little bit of a departure from Nihilist. It's a lot more dynamic, a lot more melody, and it was actually the first single we did with our new vocalist, Jewel, and it came together so simply, where Nihilist was a lot of work to write. This one just it like fell out of us, so it was a lot easier to write. So it came more naturally to us. And the most exciting part was to be able to have something come that easily and be so happy with it. We're easily the most proud we are of a song, and it's hard to put it into words. It just came so easily, and we're so proud of it. And it's a song that I can still listen to after writing it, after recording it, after mixing it, after mastering it. I still like to listen to it. So that's probably what we're most proud of on that one.
Are any of these songs right now that's going to be on this EP, are these carry over possibly from Nihilist, or these older songs, or are these all fresh new ones?
They're lyrically and vocally, they're all fresh. The original demos for most of these songs were written around the same time, and they've been through the ringer just as far as restructuring. We like to work on our songs a lot. They're not just thrown together and then put out. So we'll take them, we'll rework the structures, we'll try different arrangements, we'll try different pieces until we're all happy with the song.
So writing on this EP so far, has it pushed you out of your comfort zone, out of your boundaries that you're used to?
Very much so. This is the first time I've really felt limitless, which has always been a goal for myself personally, musically, is I want to be able to bring anything to the table and it not be like, oh, that's not our style. That doesn't fit. Anything goes. And I feel like we have a lineup and we have a group of people that are all pulling in the same direction. So there's no limits. There's some stuff on here that's just really pushing the boundaries of, stylistically adding elements that you wouldn't expect to hear on a normal metal EP or record or recording.
How long has it taken to write and complete this EP for you guys?
Well, the writing was pretty quick. I would say as soon as the Nihilist sessions were done, some of these songs have already been around. So we're looking at about a year. The drum tracks are done. We're doing final guitars over the next few weeks, and the vocals are done already. So we just got to track guitars, bass, and then mix and master, and we're done.
I know you are close to these songs, but are there any tracks standing out more to you than any right now that you could talk about that's going to be on this EP? I know it must change every time you listen to it or you hear them, but do you have any that stick out for you possibly?
Yes, there's a song that's going to be on here on this new EP called Whiskey Mistress, and it's probably one of the most interesting songs to me that we've ever written. It's very melodic vocally and very heavy musically, so there's a really strange contrast, but it doesn't feel forced. We've actually played the song a few times live already, so we've had a little bit of an idea of how people react to it, and it was very positive. So that's probably the one I'm most excited about people hearing.
Again, I know you're close to these, but was it hard to choose between the current set of songs, which one would be the first single or video you wanted to release or push first for the EP? Or did you have outside help to decide, or was it hands down Spellbound?
Well, it was hands down Spellbound because that was the only thing we had with our new vocalist on it. So that was the only choice for us to make. That was the song that he gravitated to. He wrote it first. As soon as we had approached him about playing with us, that was a standout track for him. So I guess there was some decision made to that. But as far as releasing a single and getting it out to the world, that was the only thing we had.
In your own opinion, man, what do you hope everyone takes away from Spellbound, or message you hope to hear while listening to any of Beneath the Hollow's music in general? What do you hope someone gravitates to it?
I just hope they can connect with the songwriting. If the song speaks to them, that means the world to us. So that's what makes you want to keep listening to something. That's what makes you want to go see a band live. That's what really draws you in. So if anybody can take away from it, I hope they get drawn into the songwriting, the emotion behind it, because it's real, it's raw. It's not auto-tuned, it's not overproduced. There's real emotion behind it.
I want to jump back here a minute and talk about the EP one more time. Going the EP route instead of the full length, did you guys just want to hurry up and get something out to everybody and say, well, we'll do a full length on down the road? Or was it just pretty much not having the time to do it? Because I know you guys self-produced this. I know you guys like having that time. But let's talk about that a little bit. Why go the EP route instead of full length?
Well, we actually have enough material to release a full length. The reason we decided not to was just simply because it's so hard to get people to pay attention to you. We didn't want to burn a whole bunch of songs on a release and without having enough traction behind us. So we want to gear up with another EP, because it's almost like starting over again after Nihilist. So we did the Nihilist EP with plans for a full length, had a major lineup change, especially with being a singer. So we sat and we said, do we want to do a full length, or do we want to get this momentum moving again with the current lineup and then do a full length after this EP release? So that we just felt like it would be the best option to keep the momentum moving. like you said, we could get it out faster. We can do it without burning too many songs that potentially would just fall on deaf ears.
As previously, you guys produced this yourself. Do you like having the control and time to do this when you want to, or eventually do you want to work with a producer?
For us, it's just the financial burden of, if you're going to go in with a producer and book studio time, it just, the barrier to entry and cost, to produce good music, we would not be able to release the amount of music that we do. There's no way we could have done 2 EPs, back to back like this if we had to pay full studio price. So that's the main reason. That's why we learned to be DIY, because without big money behind you, there's no way you're going to get something of industry standard quality.
And sometimes it does sound better just doing it yourself. And I'm not knocking any producers out there, but it's just the hardcore facts.
Well, and sometimes the producer just doesn't, if you don't find the right guy, you just have somebody that doesn't see the vision the way you do.
Right. Yeah.
So it is nice to have creative control over everything, but sometimes it's like a option paralysis where you could just, it's not good enough yet, it's not done yet, it's not perfect. You could just analyze yourself to death.
Who did the artwork or cover photo for the EP?
The cover photo for the Spellbound stuff was done by a company called Nightmare Designs. I don't know the artist name off the top of my head.
What has Joel Yoakum brought to the band as a vocalist after Aaron Revel's departure? And not knocking Aaron whatsoever, I'm just asking, what has Joel brought to the band?
Joel is a artist. He is very convicted about what he's doing. He is heavy-handed in the writing. Virtually, we hand Joel a song, and vocally he does what he does. With Aaron, it was a lot more collaborative of a process vocally, whether it was writing lyrics or working out vocal melodies or patterns or placement or anything like that. So Joel kind of takes it into his own realm and does what he does. So it's a very different way of working, but it brings something to the song that you can't get without that outsider approach. If I'm to contribute lyrics or vocal melodies or vocal placement, it's almost just another layer on top of the music that's already there, instead of being almost an independent entity.
Do you like the growth and direction that this band is going musically after the release of Nihilist, after you guys are pretty much through with this album, this EP just about? Do you like the direction and growth that it's going in?
Very, very much so. I feel like we're leaps and bounds from where we were on Nihilist already. And these songs are a lot more diverse. They sound better sonically. And it's just every time you do a new recording, you have more experience than you did the last time. So I think it's continued to grow and continued to expand, and I'm super happy with it.
Is this the sound that you hope Beneath the Hollow stays with or maybe expands to?
I don't think we ever want to stay in a sound, because I feel like if you're not growing, you're just putting out the same music over and over. I feel like we try to expand and grow from song to song. You'll hear a lot of bands now where you get a 10-song record and 3 songs sound different and the whole rest of it sounds just like extensions of the other songs. So we try to expand every single song, not just album to album or release to release.
In your own opinion, what does Beneath the Hollow bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, if anything? I know that no one's reinventing the wheel, Jesse, but what does Beneath the Hollow add to that wheel?
I think the biggest thing that would set us apart, the handful of things that would, is we're not a band that plays 2 backing tracks or overproduced live shows. So it's raw, it's real, throwback, old Pantera. Yeah, you're gonna track extra guitars, but when you're live, you're not playing to a backing track. And I think it almost goes back to the prior question, is we try to bring something new to every single song instead of just sticking to a formula that works and putting out a whole bunch of material that sounds almost identical. So I think that's really where we try to stand out.
Do you like to do anything differently during the writing and recording process? And I know that's two identities of itself, to help keep your mind fresh and open, to not get bored or get stale. Do you like to do anything that allows you to just escape yourself and keep your mind open?
To be honest with you, I think this is the music process is our escape from everything else. So if we're hitting a wall with something musically, or we feel like an idea is stagnant, we'll just put it away and come back to it later. There's probably 80, 85 partial song pieces that we have that just aren't ready to be finished. We won't force it.
So you guys have a slew of songs ready to roll out then?
Oh, absolutely. We've got easily 16, 18 songs finished, completed musically. Jewel is actively writing to those. And then I've got 70 to 80 partial ideas that could be crafted into songs.
Oh, geez.
We write. That's the release, the where we put anything negative, positive, anything we experience goes into this.
Yeah, I mean, you may write something that could, like, honestly kick that door open. I mean, I don't understand. Some people, they don't do it that way. And to me, I've have to do that. Like, if there's bands I'm interviewing, there's questions I come up and I just think about it, I've got to write it down. I can't just sit there and just think on it. You know, I'm like, I've got to have something to put it down. It's got to go.
I have lost so many ideas that I loved in the moment, I can't even remember them. Because if they don't go to tape, it's over with.
Yeah, I completely understand that honestly. I completely understand that for sure. In your own opinion, man, what can fans expect at a show from Beneath the Hollow who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get when they come to see you?
Oh, you're going to get a good time. We like to hang out. We like to have a few drinks while we're playing. I mean, it's kind of a big party when we play.
Jesse, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there, if you can recall possibly?
I do. My brother and I, Matt, who plays drums, we grew up in a musical household. Our dad played guitar, played in bands our whole lives, so we were always around it. So it was never anything foreign or abnormal to us. But really what bit me in the ass and goes, oh, my God, I want to do that, was when I first heard Pantera's Far Beyond Driven.
Oh, nice.
When I heard that sound, I said, this is what I need to do. So then I started paying attention to what my dad was doing playing guitar. So I need to see that.
It shocks me still this day that you go back and you think, man, Pantera's badass. Yeah, they are. But if you look back from Cowboys from Hell on down before, Vulgar Display of Power, you see the transition from Phil's voice to what it is now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and musically, too.
Yeah.
They were ahead of their time on Cowboys, but you could still hear strong influence pulls. You could still hear the Judas Priest. You could hear the early Metallica influence. You could hear the early Slayer influence. You could hear them starting to mold everything together. On Vulgar, you K-bar the Doors, and then when you gave them full-blown creative freedom and you got Far Beyond Driven, you couldn't touch them.
So how's it having your brother in the band, man? I know you want to strangle each other sometimes.
We used to. We've been playing together since I was 13 and he was 9.5, 10 years old. So we've been playing together for a long time. And we used to fight a lot. But now it's become such a all for one for all. It's very rare that there's any major disagreements.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Beneath the Hollow gets support from, or your guys' music even gets played in that location possibly?
Well, thanks to the internet and Spotify, we actually get some coverage in Germany that kind of surprised me. We do pretty well doing what Spotify streaming plays, Apple plays, and stuff like that over there. And we did actually a handful of pre-orders for Nihilist were way out there. A couple in Australia, Germany. I mean, that blew my mind. Somebody paid the money for our physical product to be mailed to them. It probably took 3.5 weeks to get there, but they did it.
I see a lot of people not liking digital music and things like it is today, but I like it for the newer bands because it gives them that extra outlet that wasn't there. Say like when the elder bands, say like Judas Priest, Motley Crue, bands like that, Guns N' Roses, back in those days, they didn't have that opportunity. They had to go out and still bust their ass like you do today, But I think, today it's a little bit easier, but you have to shift through a lot of stuff. But it's a little easier now.
Yeah, you definitely have an easier barrier to entry to get your music to ears. The biggest challenge is getting somebody to listen because they just have so many options. Mm-hmm. I think they say there's 20,000 songs released every week.
Oh, God.
Something like that, and maybe more.
Jeez. Yeah, I never did even pay attention to that. And I do this for every day. That's crazy. Folks, you want to get out and pick up Beneath the Hollow's new single, Spellbound. That's going to be out via the label group / INgrooves. And also, they're going to have their new EP that's coming out here pretty shortly, as Jesse advised. And you want to keep up with all that good stuff and give this band a chance. You will not be disappointed. Jesse, how can folks stay in touch with you all? Buy some merchandise, tour dates, all that good stuff. How can they do that, good sir?
The one-stop shop for us is www.bth1.net. BTH1.net. That's got links to all our socials. It's got links to our merch store, which is completely operated in-house, so you'll get a nice thank you note. We pack all our orders, mail them ourselves. So if you want to keep an eye on us, that's where to do it. Before
I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Absolutely. This is Jesse DeGroot, guitar player for Beneath the Hollow, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and it's vital that you get out and subscribe to our YouTube link, because anything and everything that we do will go up on our YouTube link and also the podcast link. Please subscribe again to the YouTube channel. Also get out and check out Beneath the Hollow. Pick up their new single, Spellbound. That's going to be off their new EP coming out here very, very shortly, and you will not be disappointed. So, Jesse, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, and you have all the support right here from me and BODS Mayhem Hour.
John, thank you so much for having us, man. We really appreciate the support.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.